Let's journal for January in my book bullet journal. This is an Archer and Olive journal, a 8x8 square, and I absolutely love using this. My name is Rachel, and welcome back to my channel. We're getting all set up here to record everything from my reading life for the month of January, which was approximately 72 years long. You feel me? I use Tombow dual brush pen markers, these stickers from the Happy Planner. All of these stickers are from Alicia Marksit on Etsy. I have gotten so many of her sticker sheets. They are my favorites. I print out my tiny little book covers using my Canon selfie printer. I've gotten a lot of questions about this because the app changed. It's no longer quite as intuitive or easy to use, but I have found that making a little 4x6 template in Canva, plopping all the book covers in at the exact dimensions that I want them. Typically mine are about 1 1/3 inches by like 1.75, I think. I print those out just as is on the Canon selfie printer as one image, and that's worked great. So these are my initial pages in my journal. I have a reference page I come back to often, the index, and then the yearly stats page. All of the data that I put into this journal comes from the Storygraph app. It is absolutely my favorite app. It is Black woman owned and full of charts and graphs and data. It's way better than Goodreads in my opinion, so highly recommend checking that out. I typically track my books, pages, library books, print books, audiobooks, and ebooks in this little grid, and then I move on to star ratings. Again, I get all of this from the Storygraph app. I didn't have any 1 or 2-star reads this month, so that's great. I also track my spice ratings. This is a new spread for me this year, and I'm really excited about it. I use the website romance.io to find the spice ratings, and I really love their scale. I find that it's super just like easy to use and makes a lot of sense to me. This spread is a simple little graph of the whole year, and it tracks the days that I finished reading a book. I think it's really fun to see this like in a little pixelated format, so I'm excited to see how that fills up over the year. We have a spread of my 5-star favorites. I read The Piece of Wild Things by Wendell Berry, Remarkably Bright Creatures, and The Favorites. Those were all of my 5-star reads this month. The Favorites was by far my favorite. Just makes sense. For this romance bingo spread, I print out book covers in about a 1-inch square, and then I use a tiny piece of just normal Scotch tape and make a little flap. That way you can flip it up and see the prompt underneath. I think it's really fun, and I love having this romance bingos with all the different tropes. I think it's super cute and just keeps me kind of paying a little bit more attention to the romance reads that I enjoy. And then we move on to reading challenges. I have my rad reading challenge. I do this every year, and I kind of crushed it in January. I did not realize until looking back at my reads that I had fulfilled like 5 of the categories in 1 month. But I'll take it. So I will be sharing recommendations for this challenge over on my Substack. If you are not yet a free or paid subscriber, those will be going out about once a month over there to give you some good recommendations. I also host that challenge on the Storygraph app. So it's a pretty fun way to follow along and see what other people are reading as they fulfill the different prompts. There are 9 prompts and you get the whole year to read it. I think it's accessible and also a really fun way to motivate you in your reading life. For the alphabet challenge, I am simply trying to read a book that starts with each letter of the alphabet. It's not more complicated than that. For X, Z, some of those I get a little bit more creative if I need to, but it's just kind of fun to see if I can read throughout the whole alphabet in a year. The fact that I got a J in January was pretty great. This is the Book of the Month Club challenge. I get to partner with them on some content, and I like their little challenge as a way to keep me reading those books that I get from them. And I also am a paid subscriber, so lots of Book of the Month Club books around here. For books I read, I just make a square for each book. I color it in based on the star rating, and I really love that system. It's just a fun way to create a cohesive color scheme throughout the whole year and just see those star rating colors kind of carry throughout everything. I read those 11 books in January, and so here I am coloring in. I always forget, especially at the start of the year, like what color is for each star rating. So lots of using that reference page. It just kind of proves the importance of having it. It's a really valuable asset for me. I highly recommend giving yourself a little cheat sheet. Again, I use these Tombow dual brush pen markers, and I love them so, so much. I picked these colors based on the sticker book that I wanted to use throughout this year. So this journal, unlike my Hobonichi journals, has like a very clear vibe and an aesthetic for each year. My Hobonichi is just a free-for-all. But in here, I really kind of keep it down to one sticker book and these set of colors. And that works for me. It doesn't have to work for you, but I love it. I went in and numbered these boxes after I finished coloring them and used a tiny little micron marker pen something for that. And it worked great. All right, next up we have my book log. This is simply me writing out every single title, author, and star rating of everything I read. There is just something so satisfying about the way these pages look at the end to me, and I will never stop doing them, even though, of course, the apps track my reading. This is my pub year tracker. This was inspired by my friend Whitney, and I love just putting a little bubble on the bigger bubble for whatever year the book was published in. My NetGalley stats, I am trying to keep my ratio up and actually read the NetGalley books that I get approved for. I did not make any progress on that in January, so I will be paying more attention to that in the months to come. But my ratio is 74%, pretty solid. They recommend you keep it at 80, but I don't know that I've ever really kept it at 80, so oh well. We have a couple other challenge pages. This is my goals spread. I did read one fiction, nonfiction a month, and that's really the only one I could kind of check off so far. Then we go to our monthly roundups. This is about half of this journal. So I create kind of an intro page to the month. Every month, as you probably know, if you followed me for any amount of time, I stack up all the books that I read. I take a picture of that at the end of the month. If I need to use my iPad Procreate app to add a title onto a blank spine for an ebook or audiobook, I will do that. And I'm just going to kind of paste that in, find my washi tapes, add some little details to this page to spice it up. And then essentially what I will do is paste in every single book cover and then the little stickers from Alicia Marks It, and just kind of have a simple record of everything that I read. It's just a fun little way for me to have a very clear record of my entire reading life in one space. I put in all those little star stickers, anything for spice ratings. If there's queer representation, that gets a little rainbow sticker. If it was an audiobook, it's a little headphone sticker, things like that. Just a kind of fun way to, at a glance, look at my reading. Sometimes I wish I had like a clear order for how I stack these stickers because I didn't like how that one looked, but whatever. These are the Book of the Month Club stickers. You can kind of see they start to add up. And then a fun thing I'm doing this year is the alphabet challenge stickers, just to kind of label which prompt those fulfilled, which is cute and fun. It's always fun in the first month when you get like so many. It won't be that satisfying in months to come, but it's great for now. Alrighty, after I do this, one of my favorite parts of my little journal is using that Storygraph app, like I said, to trace all of the stats. I put clear, like these transparent Post-it notes over them, and I, like literally this is my iPad. Like I just plop the Post-it note on it, trace it with a Sharpie, unstick it, and then I will glue these into my journal. And it's just, I don't know, I'm sure I could just recreate them a different way, but this works so well for me, and I love these little transparent Post-it notes. I just think they're so fun. They don't really work super well with pen or marker, but with Sharpie, they're perfect. I cut them out. I use my little glue runner tape things and tape them in, label them accordingly, and it just adds a fun little stats page. I put this opposite of my book photo, and it just kind of gives me my January in review. I think it's really fun. It's fun to see like the moods, the page numbers, the pace, the format. And then I will also draw in some charts for the top genres I read for the month and also the ratings. I just really am a nerd about the data of my reading life. I know some people probably don't care or aren't that reflective, but if there's one thing I'm going to do, it's going to be track all the random little minutia of my life. I think it's fascinating. I will also put these into a spreadsheet that I use. Like I just am the most nerdy about my reading, and I want everything tracked. And I like seeing the trends over time. You know, if I'm reading a lot of contemporary fiction one month and then tons of romance the next, that's really interesting to me. So I think it's fun to put these charts in here, especially as I'm trying to continue to kind of diversify what I'm reading, make sure I'm not just in a rut. even though I'm recording this on February 8th and I have not finished a book in February. So maybe I am in a little bit of a reading slump. I don't know. I'm in the middle of a couple of really large books, and I don't think that's helping my motivation. I'm writing in the genres on top of that bar chart just to give myself a reminder. They don't fit in the bars themselves, so on top it is. And then I'll add in the little readings chart next. I think this is so tiny and cute and I don't know, fun to add it in here. I only put something on there if it had 2 or more, because obviously if it just had 1, it would have been kind of out of control, or it could be out of control. So we'll add in the ratings chart here. I'm just trying to figure out where to space it to make it make sense. I'm actually kind of shocked. I shouldn't be, but the fact that I had no 1 or 2 star reads this month to me shows that I'm learning better how to pick the kinds of books that I really want to read that resonate with me. And also I just, had some luck in there too, because there's some books that I might think might be a great fit for me, and then I read them and they're just not. But this was great. We have mostly 4-star reads, 5 of those, 3 3-stars, and I believe 3 5-star reads, which is pretty solid. I'll take it. Again, all that data was from Storygraph. I think this adds a really fun page. I didn't really leave myself room to write the ratings title, but we made it work. I added in some stickers from my little Happy Planner book, and this spread is done. This is usually the last thing I do to update my journal for the month, and all of this probably takes me a couple hours on a Saturday. I typically do this once a month at the end of the month, and I just love this little rhythm. So like and subscribe, and I'll be sharing more about my journals and my reading.